Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. This is NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel that you've never heard of. I am DOZ101, and with me is my colleagues today, Straight Edge, aka Block. How you doing?
All right, all right.
And a special appearance by Santa Claus. How you doing?
Hello, my friend. Hi, 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 hi. Merry Christmas. Always good to be with you, fellas. We don't do enough work together.
No, we
Very,
don't.
very good. Very good. Hi, 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 hi.
And today was supposed to be the misused mid carders in wrestling, but given the last 24 hours with Jeff Hardy being released by WWE again, which is a third time I believe that this has happened, we are covering drugs in professional wrestling and wrestlers that have done drugs, the negative effects of all this kind of stuff, and why this is just things you shouldn't do. Uh, what do you guys think about Jeff Hardy being released again by WWE for refusing to seek rehab?
Who should we start with?
Whoever wants to go.
You can
I'll
go,
let you
Xana.
guys.
Yep.
Okay. It's funny in a way. Like you keep thinking, oh, is this the time Jeff Hardy has finally turned a corner? Is this the time where he's going to look back at himself and think, okay, those days are behind me? But no, the guy he goes to the fucking well all the time. You know, now he's a lot different to other drug takers in the WWE because he doesn't do performance enhancing drugs. He does recreational drugs, and there is a difference. He likes to get fucking high. That's probably why he likes to jump off ladders and shit. Because he likes to go so fucking high. But at 44, and this guy keeps being a reoccurring drug user, I just realized that there's no changing this guy. He's now you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And you know what? Later on, if you, after you finish speaking to the block, I think I'll look for that little clip at that house show where you could just see he's totally wasted, and it just harkens back to people like Scott Hall and Jake the Snake Roberts when you see them wasted in the ring. It's sad. Jeff Hardy, he's a good-looking guy, very talented. He's got everything you fucking need. He's been a top. He's been to the fucking moon in the WWE. He's been all the way to the top. He's had every opportunity to be the man, and he keeps fucking blowing it up his fucking nose as well. God damn it. Too bad, Jeff.
All right, Block.
I mean, I was slightly surprised. I figured this was going to be his last, like run. He would be somewhat clean. Maybe you'd get a pot violation or whatever. But I figured all that other stuff was behind him because I think he just appeared. I don't know the time frame. I want to say this year. With Stone Cold on his podcast, and he was talking about, oh man, I finally seen the light, and I'm not doing the drugs anymore. So I thought he got that moment kind of similar kind of when Scott Hall got with DDP, where he had that clarity moment where he's like, I'm finally putting this stuff behind me, but I guess not.
Yeah, and I think for Jeff Hardy, it's like I just have to say to all the people out here, because I know there's people that are like, oh, Jeff Hardy, he deserves one more world title run. I hope you guys understand now, to all you fans that say, like, oh, Jeff Hardy deserves better, blah, 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 blah. There's a reason why Jeff Hardy will never be world champion again, at least I hope, in any wrestling company, because the man is too much of a liability. He is a walking public relations corporate nightmare, and he's a guy that you don't have as your world champion. I would not have him be the guy carrying my top title in any company because he's unreliable due to drug and alcohol issues. And I hope that Jeff can get his act together. And here's the clip of the house show.
Okay, let's just get this on.
Yep.
Okay. Looks like he hurt his arm just doing the hot tag.
Yep. Yeah, Hardy doesn't. You
Okay,
can
look
see
at
it.
focus on Hardy,
Yep.
not the match. Look at Hardy. There he is.
He's
There.
stumbling and fumbling. You can see him
He's
going in
going
the
in the
crowd.
like he's a fucking shield, and
Yep.
the security following him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just knock the music down, just in case. I don't want to get fucked there. We just started.
Yep.
There's Hardy. Look, no, is that Hardy there? I can't tell.
I think that is. I don't know.
Okay, now there is a couple of other clips I saw. Is it this one? That's 2018. This is 14 hours ago. So I just put the
Yeah,
music and look at
you can see it, and it
his
doesn't
gimmick. Like, come on, Jeff, you really need to change yourself a little bit, man.
it doesn't
You
look as
know?
bad as the Victory Road incident that happened, um,
Yeah.
that we remember over a decade ago.
I hate that fucking thing sticking out of his ass, that bloody towel or whatever. I've always
Hmm.
hated it.
Yep.
Anyway,
But yeah, with Jeff Hardy, this is you're 44. There comes a time where you got to say
yeah.
you're 44,
But
dude. You can't be
it was,
doing this stuff
mm,
anymore.
but he's a young man. He feels invincible and all of this. And he thinks to himself, "Yeah, I can do anything. I'm invincible.
We
Nobody
all,
can stop me."
no,
You
we
know?
all felt that way when we were in our 20s, and then you start to turn later 20s, early 30s. Your body
Mm-hmm.
begins to betray you in ways that you never even imagined. Like I used to be able to run when I was younger, and I can't run anymore, like I used
Yeah,
to. Your body just breaks down. It happens over time. It's just a natural part of life.
yeah,
Y-
totally. Like
Yeah, Hardy hasn't even changed his style really. He still
No,
does the same.
yeah. He's been a face his entire career. People don't realize.
for the most part,
Yeah,
yeah. There
yeah.
was a brief time that he turned heel in TNA, and that was probably
Oh,
the only time
TNA.
that. Yeah,
Okay, okay. I must have missed
Yeah,
that.
he drank from the immortal cup of Hogan.
yep. When they tried to resurrect the NWO, like for the umpteenth time or whatever, but yeah, because that was TNA recycling old storylines. Good job. But we can go over some guys that have done drugs, or current day guys, or past guys. If you guys want to lead off with the name, and
well, I have to start off with one of the most memorable, in my opinion. Somebody, because sometimes people are such junkies that it spills into storylines. It becomes part of the whole display. Now, there's one person we all probably know, and maybe I'll leave this one to block it's Scott Hall, but I want to talk about Hawk from Legion of Doom and,
mm-hmm,
Road Warrior Hawk. This guy, you know, it's kind of sad really because he came across as so menacing, absolutely terrifying, this guy, yeah? And then you
mm-hmm,
see him walking along, fucking can't even go in a straight line, you know, because he's so wasted. The guy, was doing all manners of alcohol, all manners of drugs, unstoppable with the amount he was consuming. It kind of formed a rift between him and Animal,
mm-hmm.
but Animal was looking for new tech team partners and stuff. And the last days of Hawk, it's it's really sad. I'll never forget that time in the WWE. He's walking down all haggard and stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, how is this the same Hawk I saw all those years ago? It's not the same
Mm-hmm.
match. I can believe it. Wembley, the match they had at Wembley, there was no Doomsday Device finisher because Hawk was too much of a liability. Just a simple power slam by Animal. I never understood back then. That was 30 fucking years ago. But now it makes sense now. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then the famous incident with him and um two called Scorpio in Korea.
Yep, in Korea.
Yeah. I think he was part of the bloody plane ride from hell as well. You know.
No,
Uh,
I think during
no.
that time, I don't think the plane ride from hell, because LOD were, I think they were working the Indies at that time, because it was the year before Hawk died that the plane ride from hell happened.
Okay. Okay, but fair enough. But there's Hawk is somebody who was part of the most fearsome tag team. So much so, what's so sad about it is you see how the Dudley boys just buried them. This should have been like a dream match. Dudley boys versus the LOD, and it became a fucking nightmare. It was a joke. It was humiliating, and that's down to Hawk. He just couldn't keep his shit together, and it's just so sad. The amount, he was more of an alcoholic, if anything, and
Hmm.
alcohol is a drug too. Let's not forget that. You know, but nevertheless, he did all manners of stuff. We saw it in the in the Dark Side documentary last season. You know, so yes, it's a sad. It was sad what happened to him, and he died. And like most wrestlers, he died way too young.
Mm-hmm. Okay, block, because I'll go last.
Yep. So didn't they have something with Hawk climbing like a Titantron on Raw?
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Was that like him actually going for something, and they were just going for that, or was that actual storyline?
It was in storyline. It was in poor taste.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They need to not.
Mhm.
They still do that. They do that when wrestlers or whatever die. Like
They,
when Paul
yeah.
Bearer died, they brought that in the storyline. I'm like, you don't do that right off. It's but that's another story. They're poor taste.
But they always do that. They like to mix the reality with fiction. You know, they like to merge it together. Love Triangle with Matt Hardy, Lita, and Edge. Yeah, fuck it. You know, we'll just make it. We'll just use it as a way of selling T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I mean,
welcome back to the fault, Hardy. You're hired again, even though it wasn't your fault.
yeah.
That we sacked you. You know, but regardless,
I mean, I guess sometimes it's okay if like every party involved like okay with it, but sometimes it's like when there's a wrestler dead or something, it's like they're not there to give their consent, and there's just certain things you should not do storyline. There's just when you pass that, should we do this? That's whenever you think, should we do this? That's when the writing team should be like, all right, the fact that we're kind of questioning doing it, we probably shouldn't. But yeah, it's a sad story about Hawk, and probably anyone that's going to be on our vid today.
Yep. But who do you have in mind, Block, of people that you thought like had potential and couldn't?
I don't know if he had. Well, I think it was pain pills. Wasn't it? Mr. Perfect had a.
Yeah, he had an addiction. Yeah, Mr. Perfect. His hurt. His really hurt.
Yeah.
Because they brought him back in 2002, and then they released him again. I thought he was clean when he came back, but I don't know. I guess because he made Brock Lesnar cry or something that they had to get rid of him.
Yeah.
He did a prank on Lesnar, but when I found out he was a junkie, I was relatively surprised because the perfect gimmick almost became like a real life thing for him. I genuinely thought that this guy is fucking amazing. Why would he do drugs? But then again, Kurt Angle did it, so anything's possible. So
Yep. Well, for me, this one's not really going to come as a surprise, but Eddie Guerrero's got to be on my list of that dude. Oh my God! Like, to think that guy, he had the world and he could do it all. He could talk, he could wrestle, he could draw people in the arena. He had great matches. He was great on the mic. And Eddie, his story's so sad because he couldn't overcome pills and addiction until it was nearly too late because he was addicted to pills. He was addicted to alcohol. He got in a car accident. If you go back and watch like Eddie Guerrero from WCW 97, 98, he was not in the greatest of shape. And then he gets in that car wreck. And then if you watch WCW in 99, he comes back and he just looks totally shredded. Like you wouldn't even think that that was the same person. That's how Eddie looked. And you guys might not know, but when Eddie went to the WWF about a year in, the Radicals actually ratted out Eddie to Jim Ross and told Jim that Eddie's got a drug and a drinking problem, and we're here as friends, and we're concerned. And they had no choice but to release him. And Eddie found out years later, while his documentary was going on, if you go back and watch the Cheating, Death, Stealing Life documentary, Eddie found out that the Radicals ratted him out while he was being interviewed. And during that point, Eddie was at the lowest of the low in his time in his life. Vicky had asked for a divorce, and Eddie decided, okay, yeah, I got to get my act together. I got to get my life together. And he did. But I think brought on by heart failure, it was just too little too late. And he died at the age of 38. And his death is a death that I still haven't gotten over.
God, it's been like 16 years since he died, which is quite remarkable. It still feels reasonably recent. And what is sad the most because there's so many wrestlers who went through like a period of just lots of drugs and alcohol and they're battering their body as well. Sometimes sometimes the drugs they do is self-medication,
Mm-hmm.
because people like Vince and stuff at a particular period just doesn't understand what these guys are going through, and because everyone's an individual, even in the industry of wrestling, you might all be tough guys on the outside, but on the inside, it's. Oh, by the way, let me quickly say hello to Wrestling Lowdown. Nice, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
But on the inside, we all have our own problems, and it's how we deal with them. And a lot of them end up doing drugs. And it's so sad when you see people like Macho Man, Randy Savage, Hawk, and Eddie Guerrero. They actually, confronted their demons, and they dealt with their problems. And then not long afterwards, they died.
Mm-hmm.
After conquering their demons, they died, and it's so sad that they never had a chance, to continue living and being the amazing performers that they are. I would love to
Mm-hmm.
see more of Randy Savage. I'd love to see more of Eddie Guerrero. I think he would have been a great color commentator.
Yep.
And
I'm gonna I'm gonna
sorry, one
send
more
you
thing.
the. I'm gonna. Oh, okay, go ahead. I was just gonna say I was gonna send you the link because we might pull this up and go over it, and we
Have you
can
have you ever
find
seen
more names.
have you seen Eddie Guerrero give interviews, like shoot interviews and just regular interviews, no gimmick?
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy sounds like a fucking like a he doesn't sound Latino at all. He sounds like a nerd. Yeah, Kurt Hennig. Yeah, we mentioned him. We did
Mm-hmm.
mention him. It's Kurt with a C, by the way. But yeah, we mentioned the fact that he was doing too much drugs, and it really contributed to his death as well. It's a shame when he had his second stint in the WWE, he never amounted to much. Let me have a look at this link again. It didn't pop up. Okay.
Yep, I sent it to you,
Let's
and
let's
if you wanna pull it up on the screen, you can. If not,
yeah,
we
let's
can.
do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Some of these people, you
Because keep in
know,
mind with this list, guys, not everybody had overdoses, but or not everybody had like a drug addiction, but there are a lot of guys on this list, guys and gals that struggled with things.
okay, so Adrian Adonis. Now, uh, I remember Adrian Adonis very briefly, but
Yep.
33 is just too young. I'm fucking 11 years older than this guy, and he's dead.
Yep.
you know, let me see. We find out how he died. I don't want to look at this.
Yeah, you don't
Okay,
want ads.
okay.
Um,
You by cause of death.
yeah, and then
Oh,
there you go. That'll make it that
drug
much easier.
overdose.
Yep.
Okay, now Andrew Test
Andrew
Martin,
Test Martin, his
33 as well.
yeah, 33. He was my age. I'm 33, and it's like that's scary that you die at 32, 33 years old. You're not supposed to die in your 30s. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. And look at him. He's a phenomenal specimen of a man.
Mm-hmm.
You look at him. He's always had an amazing physique. He always came across a little bit asthmatic. Like him and Ultimate Warrior. They always looked like they were having short breathing issues, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but nevertheless, look at him. The guy looks like a Chippendale, and
Yep.
he's dead. He's dead. Anthony Durant. I've heard of this guy, but I don't know much about him.
He was one of the pit bulls in the original ECW.
Okay. Axel Rotter, I remember him.
Yep.
I look at him. He looks like a junkie anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bam Bam. Now his hurt because Bam Bam was one of my first test. Test, I think, took an overdose of something. I don't know if it was like a sleeping medication or a pain medication, and they found him dead.
You can just tell by certain people which ones were recreational drug users, like maybe like Axel Rotten, and which one were performance enhancing, like Test.
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell probably Test did too many roids, and now he's dead.
Yep.
Bam Bam Bigelow.
His hurt.
What he did.
Yeah. I know Bam Bam had diabetes too, so I know there was a complication with diabetes, I think, and maybe he overdosed on his medication, and that's what ended up killing him.
Bobby Duncombe Jr. I'm not familiar with him.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with him. I know the name, but I'm not too familiar. Buzz Sawyer, I kind of know who he is because he was the guy that started training the Undertaker.
Is Sabu a drug addict or are he just crazy? Because I always
I always thought it was a little bit of both.
Yeah.
With
the
Sabu.
guy wasn't sniffing glue, but he was using it to fucking close his wounds.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chase Tatum. Now this guy, look at this guy. Look at him physically. How can he be dead? 34. Look at him, man. A lot of a body like this. It's just absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then China, this is one of the probably most recognizable of the wrestlers so far. Like we saw that documentary.
Mm-hmm. Had China gotten her life together, I really believe she would have had one last successful run in WWE. I believe if she would have gotten over Triple H and vice versa, and they could have been professional about it, she would have had one last run.
She seemed like a very loyal person, and everyone who wanted to be a friend took advantage of her. And it got me really angry when I watched that documentary. Like you know, so many people, you know, they added to her death. You know, like this woman needed real friends, and all she had was abusers. You know, and it breaks my heart. The China story is one of the saddest of all the stories out there. You know,
and it goes to you gotta watch the company you keep. You gotta watch who you be around.
Yeah, it's a bit like Mike Tyson, you know, in that sense. Like everyone she was with wanted to use her for their own personal benefits. You know, someone like X-Pac. X-Pac was a fucking was she married to X-Pac?
No, I think they were boyfriend girlfriend, kind of off again, on again.
Yeah, but they've known each other for a long time since the Clique era and stuff. They, you know, and DX and stuff. What a fucking idiot, man! It was just anyway. Crush. This guy, I remember him when he was in Demolition, the third member, and I remember his finishing move. He would like crush your fucking head together and stuff.
Yep.
He was shocking he was one for me. When you start hearing about wrestlers dying young, he was one of the first ones when I came across actually. And it's such a shame, you know.
It's like the two baddest years I could think of that we lost a lot of wrestlers was 2003 and 2007. Both of those were horrible years because we lost so many people during those times.
Kurt Hennig.
Yeah.
We mentioned him many a time, but still, it's surprising with this guy. You know, he's a phenomenal athlete, and I'm glad to see his son is nothing like him regarding the drug department. But nevertheless, here's one. Look at this, Gino Hernandez, 28.
Yeah, how do you?
He's a baby.
How do you die at 28? Yeah, 28's a kid these days.
He's a fucking, you know, the guy's still. Oh yeah, and Lance Cage. This one shocked me.
Yeah,
this one shocked me big time. I knew he was 29. And he got Cade and Murdoch and all of that. I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. But it's obviously through drugs. You know. Louis Piccoli. Do you know about this guy?
Yeah, I know a little bit about Louis. I know he was in the original ECW, and he and Tommy Dreamer were like best friends back in the day. But Louis just could not get off the pills or get off of whatever he was taking.
He looks a bit like Kevin Farley. Yeah, I'm on about. Anyway, Matt Osborne, the original clown.
Yep, the original Doink.
Did he play anybody else?
I'm not sure.
Or was he just Doink?
I think it was just Doink. And then I think he did kind of like a heel Doink on the Indies or like a heel version of Doink or something.
No, well, he started off as heel Doink and then he became face. But I actually like the evil clown more than the good one.
Yeah.
Fucking WWE was pure bubblegum. But nevertheless, 55 is still a young age, you know. Like these guys are way too young. You know, he's got a good 30 years of life left in him, and he fucking dies at 55.
Yeah, and just because he was 55, like who knows how horrible his health was leading up to that? You know, he could have had horrible health in his 40s, so it's still young to die and have health issues.
Yep.
Mike Bell.
Yeah, unfamiliar with him. I don't know. He might have been a job guy.
Well, here we go to another big name in Miss Elizabeth.
This is probably the saddest one on this list because
You think so?
the wrestling business did not deserve Miss Elizabeth. She's one of those that has the compliment "too nice to be in the business," and
Yeah,
when
she
you earn
was. Yeah,
and when you earn that kind of compliment, that's how you know you're good at what you do and you're just a good-hearted person.
she was surrounded by like enablers and people. Like she was a the candle in the darkness kind of thing for some of those
Uh,
locker rooms.
I don't know. I look. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to make out that she was a fucking she was a bad person, but I don't think I think being in this industry, it must have smartened her up to a degree.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, her and Lex Luger, they were doing drugs together. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah,
And it's not like she didn't. But unfortunately, it took her life at 42, and it's a
yeah,
shame.
but for me,
42, man.
she's the saddest one on this
Yeah,
entire list that we're gonna see.
I think she was just kind of naive when she first got in. And like, you know, Z said, once she kind of got in the industry, she just like, well, maybe this is normal, so I guess I'll just do it.
Mm-hmm. And she
So
could never overcome it.
yeah,
Look, one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time is Sherry Martel, without a doubt.
Extremely doesn't get enough credit. Doesn't get enough
Yeah.
credit. She's another one
Fantastic
that.
manager as well, and just knew the business inside and out.
Yep.
And 49, like, come on, like, she deserves to live longer. I'm glad she got Hall of Famed,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
but, like, what a, like, like, this is the thing, like, this is what this industry does to you. Like, so many of these guys are dead. Like, doesn't people like Vince McMahon have any responsibility for any of this?
It's like
You know?
well, most of these superstars are from like the 80s and 90s, like when their popularity was, I guess, at their height. Like I agree with you. Like you'd think Vince or the management had to know what was going on in the locker room, but they just like, oh, whatever, we're selling tickets. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, we know more about drugs now, but they knew drugs weren't good for you in the 80s too. They were a health hazard, so that can't be used as an excuse.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you can't use the it was a different time thing
Yeah,
as an
yeah.
excuse either because it's like it was never okay to begin with.
yeah, you could
Because a
tell
lot
it.
of these guys were dying up to like until like the early not early 2000s, like 2015 and stuff.
Mhm.
Like what the hell,
You still hear about it occasionally, but you don't hear about it as much anymore.
Yeah. I
And
guess
then,
the times are changing now. Like the wrestlers nowadays, they're not getting wasted after every. They're playing on their Game Boys and they're playing video games afterwards.
yep,
And they.
I'd rather play video games versus yeah.
Mm,
Like they used to have openly drug use, in the locker rooms back in the day. It was pretty
Mm-hmm.
open, like, it
well,
wasn't like hidden or anything.
you don't have the sort of like alternatives they had. Nowadays, that there's so many alternatives of passing your time without having to fucking shoot steroids in your arm or fucking do a
Mm-hmm.
line of coke. But anyway, Terrence Acid, I'm not familiar with this guy, but it seems like he must have done some acid. He
He
looks
was
really
a
physically.
yeah.
He's 29.
He was an indie
Huh?
guy. Yep. He was
And
a
then,
dude on the indies, and some guys, you have to take in consideration too. Some guys smartened up, some guys didn't really care. They're like, "This is my life. I know one day my time will come. It happens." I mean, there's some guys that are too stubborn to just get the message. And look at Umaga. Umaga, he's probably
Mhm.
one of the most recent examples of like WWE offered him help. He said no, and 6 months later, he died.
36 years old. He was one half of Rosie and Jamal. The
Mm-hmm.
3 minute warning as well.
Yep.
I hated the finisher, the fucking farm of death or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
This is a period, like even then, like making people like him like some sort of Neanderthal man, some sort of beast. And WWE did that, but nevertheless,
I
him
wish he
dying
would
at
have beat John
36.
Cena. He would have
Yeah,
killed the face.
he should have beat John Cena. Yeah,
He was
I agree.
over.
Yeah,
They
Yep.
liked his intro. Ooh my god. That was fun.
Umanga,
yeah.
as
Yeah.
William Regal would call him. Umanga.
Above
Yeah.
all the more well-known wrestlers who have died from the drug overdose, you can also view a full list of deceased wrestlers The social list by drug, social by drug, cold to death, heading to
Hmm.
the top of our table. Our database connected with wrestlers who died from drug overdose. Also, check out our page dedicated to wrestlers who died before the age of 50. Now, unknown, dead before 50. Now, I
Yep.
can't. Wow, Andre was only 46.
Yeah.
But he suffered from gigantism.
Hmm.
You know,
And back then, there was nothing you could do like there is now for that
is
kind
there
of thing.
okay, so Daniel Vance says overdose is a horrible way to go. I experienced two both via hospital mistakes. Those were horrible weeks. Yes, I totally understand. Is
Hmm.
Sonny on there? Well, Sonny's not dead.
No, Sonny's on our list of like people that are still alive. Like I could think of a few,
Yeah.
like Sonny, Jimmy Uso,
Yeah,
Jake
there's
the
people
Snake
that are
Roberts, Scott
circling.
Hall.
Scott
You
Hall,
know,
Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
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 I have
But,
hope for Scott Hall though. I want to
look, here
say
you go.
he's
Actually,
good
Masato,
now.
like this beautiful lady died at 39. Does anybody know why?
I think she committed suicide. I want to say.
Yeah. I think
Oh
she was like
no.
YouTubing or texting that same day and then just pow.
Yep.
Well,
No, it's always
I,
horrible when somebody like her dies, you know. Balls Baloney died dead at 40. I love this guy. Yeah,
Hmm.
for me, he was like the hacksaw Jim Duggan of ECW. Um, like we're doing the alive and just the dead ones. But no, but sorry, I apologize. We are doing alive too because obviously, Jeff Hardy started the show, but
Hmm.
we are coming across people who have died from an overdose, you know. But yeah, Sunny wouldn't be on this list.
Yep.
These are all the
Sonny's
dead ones at the
definitely on the
moment.
list.
Um,
I'm
Dick
gonna. I
Dudley.
have other. Obviously, I'm still at work, so I'm gonna have to head out. But thanks for having me.
All right, man. Yeah. Thanks for
No
joining us.
problem.
All right, everybody,
Yeah.
stay tuned to NerdTube.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Big Boss Man. I don't know what he was doing with his life, but 41 is way too young. He
Had a
told us
heart.
he's alright. No, he
He
had a heart attack.
yeah, he had a heart attack.
This said without a doubt had a heart attack. Look at the size of him. You
Hmm.
know. And Christopher Lola. Now this guy definitely did drugs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
You
100%.
know. 46 as well. And Brian Pillman. Well, I'm not sure if he was a
Pill.
Pill man.
Oh,
You know.
Pillman was he was definitely I think on some stuff because after the car accident, and for
Okay.
some people it's like yeah, you just never get off the stuff. You just can't.
Benoit definitely did drugs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Benoit did steroids. That's not debatable.
Same with Chris Candido.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but Chris Canyon, no, he wasn't. He wasn't a druggie.
No,
He
I
was
don't
a
think so. All right. Yeah, while we're waiting for Zam to return here,
sorry,
this
I
is
apologize.
yep.
I'm back.
All right.
So look, we got to look. Definitely, Chris Holly did some for sure.
Yep.
British Bulldog, without a doubt. You know, I
Yeah,
heard
British
that get
Bulldog,
cracked.
100%.
So and Dina Bravo was murdered.
Yeah, Dino Bravo was Canadian Mafia, I think.
Yeah, Canadian Mafia murdered. Daphne, she died recently.
Yeah, she passed recently, and I think she was just struggling.
Earthquake. I forgot his real name, but
John Tenta.
yes, yeah. And who else have we got here? Jan Gonzalez?
Giant Gonzalez died of diabetes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hercules 47. Junkyard Dog. Texas Tornado was a junkie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he was on something.
definitely. What I heard from is it Kevin Von Erich? I forgot which one's the last one
Yeah,
because
yeah, Kevin.
yeah, he mentioned, because he was the pretty boy of the Von Erich brothers.
Hmm.
And look, he still fucking died, they all died.
Yep.
Yeah. And Rosie. That's this guy's is Roman Reigns' brother.
Yep.
Yeah. So Mike Awesome. No, I was really sad to hear about his death.
Yeah. It was unfortunate.
Yeah. And Rick Bogdan, the fake, the fake
the fake razor.
Warrior. Well, I'm sure, like with Warrior, he was over 50 when he died, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Um,
sure Warrior did steroids and
but Warrior definitely did a lot of drugs. You know, and he died. Rick Rude, 40 years old,
you know,
man. Look at him.
yeah,
Really,
Rick Rude definitely. I don't believe Rick Rude looked that way naturally.
I'll tell you what. Just regarding Rick Rude, one of the things I love about Rick Rude is that he was polar opposite to his gimmick.
Hmm.
Usually, the best wrestlers' gimmicks are the ones who are an extension to yourself. But I have more admiration for people who can do a gimmick which is nothing like yourself,
Yep.
because he was a religious man, a family man, and all of that. And here he is playing a fucking womanizer and a horrible human being.
Yep.
You
But
know,
out of the ring, he's one of the nicest dudes you could ever meet.
yeah, quite remarkable. So Dr. Death, Steve Williams. How ironic to have a name like that.
Yep.
And then the Renegade, the fake Ultimate Warrior. Oh, that was so bad. I remember those times. But people like
Definitely.
Yokozuna, yeah.
Definitely Terry Gordy did some stuff because you got to remember who he was teammates with: Michael P.S. Hayes and Jimmy Jam Garvin, the Freebirds. And during that time, the Freebirds were wild. The boys and the birds.
Yokozuna, like, you can tell with some of these guys just like pure obesity.
Hmm.
It got to them, and Yokozuna definitely died of that. But yeah, these are the ones who are all dead.
Yep. But to
Um,
go over the ones that are alive, someone said in the chat, Sunny's on the list. She needs to get her life together now.
yeah,
Like,
she's not far from dying, in my opinion. She'll be on that list soon, in my opinion.
mhm. Yeah, let me look it up. See how old she is.
Drug wrestlers alive.
Yeah, Tammy Cinch. She is 49 years old now. Mm. And she was inducted in the Hall of Fame 10 years ago. I always found it funny that her and Shawn Michaels went in the same class together.
Well, the two wrestlers that stand out to me still, who are not dead from doing a lot of drugs. Actually, maybe three. Actually,
I can think
but
of three.
I can think of three. Hulk Hogan, because that guy was doing more than saying his prayers and taking his vitamins.
Actually, I've got four. Yeah, I can think of Hulk Hogan, Jake
Jake the Snake Rob,
Jake the Snake.
yeah,
Yep,
Scott
Scott
Hall.
Hall, Shawn Michaels
Oh
would
yeah, Shawn
definitely be
Michaels,
on that list.
Marty Jannetty.
Oh yeah,
He's still
Marty's
he's
another
living,
one.
right?
Marty's another one that's had a rough life.
Yeah, let me just have a look at Marty Jannetty right now.
Yep, because
Marty,
I don't think Marty ever got it together after the Rockers broke up in the early '90s.
is there any recent images? Okay. Well, you look at him and Shawn Michaels,
Mm-hmm.
and
I honestly would have thought Shawn would have died years ago had he not got his act together and
it doesn't
found
mean,
religion and
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. Because I remember in the late '90s, Shawn was 100% on that stuff. Yeah, look at Marty. You don't even have to scroll. You could just tell in that picture right there on the right what kind of life that Marty has had.
Yeah. Look at him. Yeah. Look at him here, and look at him here.
Yep.
Yeah, like it's and Jerry Lawler the same. Yeah, Jerry Lawler, he's kept himself in good nick. You know, I'll be honest with me, he looks fantastic for a 70-year-old.
Yeah, Lawler looks like he's gotten in better health over the years. Lawler looks like he's gone from reverse because Lawler looks like he didn't take care of himself in his early career, but as he's gotten older, he's kind of mellowed out. And Lawler, I don't think, is one of those dudes that really ever did drugs and all that kind of stuff. Lawler's one of the clean ones.
Yeah. Salmon in that list, so sad. You're damn right, Revolution Media.
Yep.
Daniel Bond says they're all in a perfect storm. The things that were being said about the Oxycontin at the time of release, not non-habit forming, non-addictive, became a bane for generations. Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah, and it was addictive. You know, these guys, everything in everything you take on a regular basis ends up being addicted. You know,
Hmm.
like it doesn't matter. You become part of a routine, and the routine is very hard to break.
And people have to
And
realize too, those rings are stiff as hell. Those rings, when you take the bumps, when you take like a backdrop, it's stiff.
not all 2021.
Yeah, let's see what he looks like now. Okay, he looks like he's been through it, but he's looking better than he was.
It's not good. Wow, look at this picture here. Look
Yep,
at this.
yep.
Yeah. I don't know where Scott Hall is right now because you saw him here when NWO did that running. You know,
Hmm.
he looked like shit. You know, he looked like shit. You look at these three here. Look at him here.
Yep.
You know, like Kevin Nash. Now, there's a guy who kept himself in good nick.
Yeah.
You know, he knows how to maintain himself. He knows that his appearance
Yep.
is his main asset. You know, which
You
is
could
why he's
even
got the
hell,
yeah.
you could even add Waltman to the list of guys that have actually gotten it together. Because Waltman was, speaking of drugs, he was heavy into drugs. Because I remember seeing him in TNA 10 years ago. Even though he was young then, he looked old
Yeah,
because of all the.
at Scott Hall here. Like, look at him here. Like, Jesus Christ, man, he had it so well.
Hmm.
Yeah, look at the Hall of Fame ceremony here. Like, now he looks good here.
Hmm.
You know, and it's good when you saw him. Like, I don't know when it was, but he showed off a six pack and everything. You know, let me see if I can. Age, height, weight, his net worth. Let's have a look.
Yep.
I'm going to share this screen 1 second.
All right. Yeah, but Scott Hall is definitely on that list of guys that have turned his life around. It seems like, and I
Well,
don't.
he seems like somebody he's relapsed on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
Scott Hall, Scott Oliver Hall, male, 63 years old, 20th of October 1958. Birthplace St. Mary's County, Maryland, United States. Nationality American. Height 2 meters, 2.01 meters, 105 kilos. That's very light.
Yeah.
You know, very light for a man of his height. Sexual orientation straight, divorced, wife, spouse Jessica Hart, Daniel. Is he married into the Hart family?
No.
Finally,
Different heart.
okay. Girlfriend dating that's available. American wrestler. We were 4 million. Okay, Scott Hall is commonly known as a semi-retired professional wrestler. He's best recognized for his work done with the World Wrestling Federation, presented known as WWE below the ring name Razor Ramon, as well as with the World Championship Wrestling below his actual name.
Hmm.
Anyway, let's get into current situation.
Yeah, where he is now.
Look at the as of
Okay, so
December
this is more recent
2021,
times.
Scott Hall has an estimated net worth of 4 million. He makes a fortune from his career as a formal wrestler, though he is now semi-retired. Semi-retired? Oh, is he still fucking taking bumps?
I think he still does like indie shows, but he doesn't take bumps as much anymore. Like he'll show up just to like throw some right hands, and that's about it.
Before I read this, let me keep going here. Once is spot on.
Hmm.
Yes, he is. And some of the pills drug companies shouldn't be washing their hands. I agree. You know what? But some of these things are made in the black market. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Presently identified as semi-retired kind of former wrestler, Hall began his functioning in wrestling in the official manner right from the mid-80s era by Championship Wrestling from Florida. Both challenging for some of those as associated of a tag team identified as the American style. This is not interesting. Look at these tits. Um, I want to know what's happening with his life now. This is nothing.
Yeah.
Mm. Okay, let me share this again. It's amazing that he's still alive. You know,
Hmm.
like considering
I can
someone.
remember 10 years ago, we were all talking about, like, oh, we were thinking that Scott Hall was literally on his deathbed, a
Well,
decade
well,
ago.
that famous moment from Plagiarizing from Hell, I think it was just incredible. He
Yeah.
was wheelchairing him, and people had no idea if he was alive or dead.
Hmm.
you know, but they didn't take the chance of having him dead in the airplane, so they wheelchaired him out, trying to get away with it. He wasn't dead, obviously, but they
No.
didn't even know. They couldn't tell.
And then if
You
you go
know,
back and watch DDP's YouTube channel when Jake had gotten clean and he finally had started cleaning himself up, they called Scott, and Scott was so incoherent, you couldn't make out anything he said, blah, blah, blah. And he, last I heard, I think he relapsed, but this was years ago, but he's gotten himself mostly cleaned up.
this is. Oh, look at this.
I do anyway, but I mean, I'm having a great time. It's great to be around fans.
This is
Sounds,
April, by the way.
Yep, okay, he sounds better.
So it's good to be anywhere. But I grew up a wrestling fan. I love wrestling fans. I love pro wrestling. So it's just fun to be in the mix.
Mm.
Be back.
Man,
Yeah, he does look better.
Mhm.
Even with the mask on, you can tell.
I really felt like
He looks it, he sounds it.
other wrestling fans, right? Like it's we're here together because we have.
He seems coherent.
For a year,
Yeah.
and we're also here seeing our legends, and I feel like the turnout, even though it's a little different setup, the turnout is all love and positivity.
Yeah, it's one thing I've always found is like wrestling fans are really passionate. Like sometimes, like when I was a villain, if they booed me, I dug that. You know, like yeah, that means you get it. I'm doing my job, and I don't know. Like I said, I grew up a fan, so I got nothing but love for the fans. I mean, look at these kicks a fan made.
Oh my god! Like,
Show me his fucking
I'm
kicks.
gonna show you guys these kicks real quick.
His fans made him a shoe.
Oh, okay, made him an NWO style type of shoe.
On head.
Look at the back.
Nice.
All
The
right.
perks of being famous.
Those
Mhm.
those are fresh.
Yeah, no fan did them for me.
Oh man! So before I let you go, look, two things. One, Eric Bischoff got into the Hall of Fame, or this weekend, or whatever, WrestleMania.
Well
He
deserved.
did?
Actually,
Yeah.
a year ago before.
Yeah, I guess it's deserved. Yeah.
The plan from the WWE was the four of us were going in, and then while we were on stage, they wanted us to call Eric up, and they were going to surprise him and put him in. But see, for me, and I'm buddies with Eric, I was thinking, yeah, I don't want to kill the surprise, but I want to give my friend a heads up, so make sure he's got a sweet tux on,
Cleaned up a little
and
bit.
he's prepared.
Right.
Like, don't.
All right.
Eric.
I'll tell you, if you want me to keep playing it, let me know. But
Oh, it's all good.
I just wanted to see what he's like, and it's funny because as I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself, this guy plays a Latino,
Mhm.
and he's done it really well. I'll be honest with you.
But it's good to see. It's good to see that he's still got it together. Jake the Snake seems to also
Jake
be.
the Snake.
Yep.
Jake the Snake, not Jake Snake. Jake the Snake. Oh, I'm still getting bicyclists here. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yeah, you have to put his full name in.
Oh, he's got Instagram.
Okay, this
There
is
we
back
go.
from July.
6 years after. I think I've seen this.
Yeah.
Guys, it's me, DDP, along with my buddy. I'm going to go call her right now. Wow. Because that's one of the great things in the movie is you're able, if you're a sober person, you're able to see what that significant other that is in trouble is really going through. That it's not this.
Okay, that doesn't. Sometimes these frozen shots don't do them justice, but he looks great.
He looks way better than he did like 5, 6, 7 years ago.
He doesn't look haggard. Your age, you get old. That's natural. That's how it happens. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he looks older, but that's supposed to happen as you get older. But he looks great. Yeah.
He looks good. You look at him. You got to thank DDP for this. You know.
Mm-hmm.
DDP
is one of those dudes that should get in the Hall of Fame twice. He's already in
Yeah.
now, but they need to induct him with the Warrior Award and put him in for all the help that he's done with wrestlers and people in general with his DDPY program.
Yeah, exactly. Like what he like. He doesn't need to do any of this for people, but he's he's become like legend in my opinion. He has saved lives. This man,
Yep.
genuinely, he's turned people's lives around. That guy who couldn't walk, remember that one?
Yep.
And the guy ended up running and shit.
Yep.
It takes a predator to take down Jake the Snake. Apparently, he doesn't like snakes. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. I was shook when I was shook when I found out that Jake doesn't like snakes for real. Like he was like, I'm terrified of them.
Yeah, it seems to have gotten over it, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
During his wet videos, he pretend to fucking, he would treat that snake like a penis,
Yep. I can remember when he came back in Raw in 2014 and he tried that, and Road Dogg had to tell him, dude, you can't do that. It's a PG show.
Exactly. Let's have a look at Sunny.
Yeah. Tammy Lynch Sitch, but I think if you just type in Sunny WWE, you'll get to see kind of what she looks like.
Okay. Okay. We've come a long, long way from this person. This person
Yeah, remember
is
when
long gone.
Yeah, because remember when she used to be hot? Like she was. Woo.
Oh look, let me tell you something. Yeah, have you seen Salma Hayek?
No.
You know who she is? Yes, the actress
I've heard the name. Mm-hmm.
She is 56. I forget which one it is. Yes. Look at this woman! Oh my god! Oh my god! Like this woman is in her mid-50s, and I'm sure a similar age to fucking Sunny, and she still got it. She looks. But I'm gonna show you. I'll show you a picture of Salma Hayek shortly. But let's get this show on the road. This was on August the 14th.
By 14th, we have art prints, we got turnbuckle pads, all kinds of stuff. Signed by superstars.com. Tammy, you brought so much awesome merchandise.
Oh my god, there's so much stuff.
Yeah, you could.
Grandma.
Yeah, you could tell Sunny is aged.
Amazing, guys. You want anything?
But the drugs and alcohol will do that to you,
Oh yeah.
Candido stuff. We got you covered. Do not miss today's show. It is gonna be awesome. We got a lot of stuff to get to. All right, let's.
But she doesn't look too bad, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah.
Dill. We're just gonna sign this.
Okay. What color?
Silver Sharpie.
Well, I know she was like.
Just sign it.
I know she was like doing like online porn and stuff like that, like showing off her clit and stuff. Yeah.
She was doing OnlyFans before OnlyFans was a thing.
Yeah.
Wait, you're in jail?
I just got out of jail.
I know, it's a big secret.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Sunny's. The reason why they'll never bring Sunny back is because she always gets in trouble all the time.
I drive illegally all the time, so I'm not driving illegally anymore.
Right.
So
We don't have to worry about that.
that's the only thing I do wrong.
We're gonna do black right across your chest.
Okay.
Yep, and the other one's on the chest.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. There you go, Nick Giles. Thank you, sir. You guys have any questions? Yeah, only two. If you guys have any questions, let us know. We'll ask. A lot of people are saying hello. Sunny is going to be very hot at 90.
I hope so.
How old is Tammy Lynch? Can you do a search?
Yep. She is 49.
49, yeah?
Yep.
Wow, that's younger than I expected.
Sorry.
And she looks a lot older. She looks like she's in her 50s.
Yep. She looks at least like 53, 54. She's definitely aged.
Oh, yeah,
Now, all right, we had enough of this?
Yep.
Okay, now let me show you. Now, Salma Hayek. Yeah? This woman was in the Eternals movie. Yeah? This is picture. You see this picture here?
Yep.
54 years old in that fucking picture.
See, this is what happens, guys, when you take care of yourself. Don't do drugs. Seriously. Don't do drugs.
All of these pictures here,
Yep.
these three here, in the brown, black, and purple, she's in her 50s.
And if you're going to drink responsibly. We cannot stress that enough.
Exactly. I mean, look at this woman. She's gorgeous, man. Look
Yep.
at her. 54 in the top left-hand corner.
Hmm.
54, man. Oh my God, I've always loved this woman. I always have. Fantastic actress and absolutely beautiful woman.
Yep.
She looked absolutely amazing.
But
What?
yeah.
Anyway, but nevertheless, this is what can happen to you. And she's not even a wrestler, but it just goes to show, how you can take care of yourself and still look bloody amazing.
Yeah, you
In,
have to take care of yourself. You got to be willing to put the work in. Don't be like to aspiring wrestlers. I get that it's your dream, but I would say learn a trait first before you even think about getting into the wrestling business in case it doesn't work out.
yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
Well, I think we've kind of gone on about this, enough, Jose.
Yeah.
There's a lot of wrestlers out there who have done their fair share of drugs, and there always will be, in my opinion. I know the WWE are clamping down on it, and it's good to see that nowadays wrestlers have other vices, so to speak, like their video games and being social media stars and stuff like that, to take away from wanting to do drugs all the time.
Yep.
I do recreational drugs, maybe not so much, but I do get concerned about the performance enhancing,
Yep.
because when you're on the road as much as these guys, especially in the WWE, you can easily miss a session of training, and if it means that you end up doing performance enhancing drugs to make up for that miss, then these sort of scenarios will keep on coming.
Yep.
Randy Orton, he's been suspended on a few occasions. This is some of the Roman Reigns, some of Rey Mysterio. Sometimes these wrestlers you don't realize, um, who have been very popular in the industry, they've all failed the drug policy. Jimmy
Hmm.
Uso, the guy fucking he drinks drives like it's a fucking hobby.
Yep. The dude could be a single star. He could be a mid card champion if they
Mhm.
if they ever broke the Usos up. He would be a good United States Intercontinental Champion, I think. But the more as we wrap this up, I'm just gonna say, Jeff Hardy, dude, we started with you. We're gonna end with you. You got to get it together, man. You really
Mhm.
do. You're 44. You're not so young anymore, man. It may be
And,
time to sit down and start thinking about maybe it's time to walk away
and,
and call it a career.
and the last thing we want to do is see Jeff Hardy on that list of dead wrestlers too.
Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah,
see Hardy.
I
I
don't.
don't.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want to
to.
see him. I don't want to see him dead within 5 years. That's what I don't want to have happen.
I don't want him for 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah.
He deserves to. He's given us so much entertainment, and he's put his body on the line, doing some of the most incredible things in wrestling.
Yep.
You know, he deserves better, and he's. I hope. I do. Look, don't get me wrong. It is a mixture of both. Like, sometimes when you have put your body through a fucking ladder and into a table or whatever, sometimes a fucking fat spliff is what it takes. Just to take the edge of a long day of fucking wrestling. So,
Hmm.
WWE really need to look into pampering their wrestlers and treating them like gold. But instead, what they're doing is firing them. But that's another story.
Yep.
Well, now before we do move on, I just want to tell everybody that tomorrow we're going to be looking at some of the trailers from the Games Award that happened over this week. Lots and lots of trailers are out. I've done a couple of reactions to us. One was a Star Wars trailer, one was a Star Trek trailer. But there's so much stuff out there. There's Matrix, there's Sonic, there's Wonder Woman, there's Final Fantasy. Anything that caught your eye?
The Gotham game looks
The Gotham.
really good. That looks
No.
really good.
66 fucking trailers. I couldn't believe it. I'm not sure if
Hmm.
we'll be able to go through all of them, but it will be tomorrow. So keep an eye on YouTube for that. We haven't scheduled it yet, but we will get to that very shortly, I promise. Until then, you want to take us out, Jose?
Yep. Until then, this is NerdTube. We are the greatest YouTube channel that you've never fucking heard of. I am DOZ101. Santa Claus, thank you for being here. And we will see
Thank
you
you. Merry
guys later.
Christmas. Bye
Yeah.
bye.
All right. Bye.